watch Matt and his crew make some art with fire, which I thought was really cool. So I have the E-mount 35 lens with me. It's great for low light situations. It's really great if you want to be artistic and have, you know, that beautiful faded look. And I think it's going to be really great in a place like this with so much beautiful stuff to look at. The 35, if you're looking to buy a prime lens, 35 is a great lens to start with, just because it's so versatile. It can shoot just about anything. So this lens can do a really shallow depth of field, meaning I can pick where the focus is and it's going to be really small. So when you have really cool, intricate objects like this and a bunch of them, I can actually make one stand out more than the other ones. So this is a working studio. There's a lot of industrial bits and pieces around, but there's also a lot of really gorgeous works of art. And I really think with this lens, I'll be able to focus on the beautiful stuff that I want to see. If I want to get a really good photo of them actually making the glass, I have to be quick and agile because they can't stop and pose. So it's great that I have a camera that's small and lightweight so I can get in through and not get in their way. Your photo camera is also a video camera, and I'm really excited to take some beautiful video because I have a 35 lens on a video camera that's small and compact and fits in one hand. I kind of think everyone needs to have a 35. I'm at Lakewood Brewing Company, and there are two reasons for that. One, it's a really cool place full of lots of cool stuff, and it's a great place to take a portrait. Second is my husband actually works here. I know the owner, our friend Wim. What better place to take a portrait of Wim than in his own brewery? I really like shooting with the Prime 50. I have so much control over the blur and the depth of field. That's really good for portraits because, especially in a portrait, is where you really want to control what's in focus. Can you sit here? However feels comfortable. Just sit here and just be natural. With the Prime 50 lens, I can really easily manipulate where that blur is going to be to make sure that whoever's in the picture, in this case it's Wim, is in full focus, but all these wonderful things around him that I want in the picture, but I don't want to be the center of the picture, are just soft enough to really make him stand out. Yet you still know where we are. 50 is the perfect focal length for a basic, standard, everyday portrait.
F2.8 macro lens is the most advanced lens Nikon ever built for macro photography. It's the first macro lens to introduce the VR system. This is very useful if you want to take pictures handheld. You can do almost every kind of macro photography with this lens. The long focal distance permits you to stay further away from the subject without disturbing it. With this narrow depth of field, I can easily take out my subject from the background. This is a heavy-duty lens because it has a weather sealing treatment. Has a nanocrystal coating technology. Usually a normal lens introduces a lot of flares, but with the nanocrystal technology you can avoid this problem. If I have to bring with me only one macro lens, I prefer to bring this one.
Hi, it's Erin from DP Review, and this is the Nikon 50mm f1.4 G lens. It's a small and compact, high-quality prime lens for Nikon's FX and DX DSLRs, and comes highly recommended from DP Review. A standard prime is one of the best purchases you can make for a DSLR system. The classic 50mm focal length is versatile and typically offers extremely good optical quality for relatively low cost. The Nikon 50mm f1.4G is a lightweight and tack-sharp standard lens on full-frame DSLRs. It offers an effective focal length of 75mm on Nikon's DX format, making it useful for portraiture and low-light candid photographs. This lens is a good choice for everyday photography on full-frame cameras and good for portrait work on APS-C cameras.
In this Canon EF Lens 101 video, we're going to talk about Canon's STM lenses. STM stands for stepping motor. It's a special type of focusing motor built into the lens. And you'll find that these lenses really shine when it comes to shooting video, as well as still pictures using live view. The best way to see what an STM lens can do is to look at an example. Notice how you can hear the sound of the autofocus motor in the video. Not to mention, it may hunt for focus more than a lens with STM technology. Now, let's take a look at an example of a video taken with an STM lens. For starters, it's really quiet, and notice how smoothly it captures the focus and follows it continuously. You'll see incredibly smooth focus transitions when you move from one subject to another, and in particular when you focus on anything that's moving. Whether you're recording video of your kids playing outside, a bride coming down the aisle, or sports and action subjects, Canon's STM lenses give you consistent, sharp imagery. How do Canon's STM lenses perform so well? The stepping motors that drive their autofocus are engineered to stop and start extremely smoothly, without the hesitation or roughness that other focus motors sometimes deliver. This super smooth stop and start performance isn't only a factor when you press the button to start focusing. For technical reasons, the way focus information is gathered when we read off the imaging sensor during live view or video shooting means the lens is driven in many small start and stop motions. This happens whether we're simply transitioning from a near to far subject, or when we continuously focus with servo AF on something that's moving. Either way, with STM lenses, this is translated into seamless motion, not abrupt and jerky focus movements. STM lenses can focus steadily on moving subjects and keep them in focus. Combine a Canon STM lens with a Canon camera offering dual pixel CMOS autofocus, and you've got a superb combination for live view still image shooting, and for video where your subject is on the go. Canon offers a variety of interchangeable lenses with this STM focusing technology. You'll find STM lenses within our EF lens line, our EF-S series, and for our mirrorless type cameras in the EF-M lens series. You'll see STM right in the lens's name if it uses this smooth and quiet AF system. Next up in the series, we're going to completely switch gears and go into the close and personal world of macro photography.
In this part of the Canon EF Lens 101 series, we're going to cover macro lenses. Lenses that help make little details seem big. So what is macro photography? Macro photography is all about photographing objects that are really close to the lens. See, most lenses have a minimum focusing distance, and they won't let you focus on things that are just inches away from the lens. But special macro lenses, like Canon's EF100, let you get really close. Macro photography is great for photographing things like flowers, insects, jewelry. For example, if you wanted to get really close to show off the detail on a flower, a macro lens works great. Or let's say you wanted to photograph some seashells on the beach. Not only do macro lenses let you get super close to show off all the intricate details and patterns on the shells, but they also do a great job of creating that soft, blurry background that really helps those patterns and details stand out. So let's talk about some tips on using macro. First thing is, you're probably going to want to be on a tripod. With macro, you're shooting so close that any camera movement becomes really apparent in the final photo. Next, if you have one, using a remote cable release or even the camera's auto timer so that you're not shaking the camera when you press the shutter. Focus is really important. You want to focus on the part of the subject you want to be the sharpest. And when it comes to macro, f-stops can be really important. Let's say you're shooting a flower at a low f-stop at like f2.8. Even though you're focusing on one part of the flower, not only does the background become out of focus, but the rest of the flower itself can quickly become out of focus and blurry too. So you may need to increase your f-stop to maybe f11 or even higher to bring more of the flower into focus. Now here's one more tip. Even though macro lenses are designed for close-up work, they also work great for other types of photography, especially portraits. Canon's 100mm and 180mm macro lenses are favorites among some of the portrait photographers out there. As for lenses, Canon has a total of 6 macro lenses which range in focal lengths depending on just how close you want to get to your subjects. And for those of you that want to get into macro even deeper, make sure you look at the NPE 65mm, which lets you photograph a subject at up to 5 times its normal life size. Now, next up in the series, we're going to switch gears and we're going to go really wide with the unique perspective of a fisheye lens.